Hello everyone and welcome back to Cooking with the First Ladies. My name is Liz Everline and I am the Education Programs Manager at the National Women's History Museum, and we are continuing to cook our way through the First Ladies Cookbook, and today we are sharing a recipe from Lou Hoover. She was the wife of Herbert Hoover and First Lady of the United States from 1929 to 1923. Lou was a very active First Lady. She advocated for women's equality. She also insisted that men take an equal part in housework, although something tells me that she probably wasn't able to get her husband to clean their bathroom in the White House. Aside from advocating for women's equality, Lou was also highly involved in the Girl Scouts of America. She served in a variety of capacities in the organization, but it was while she was serving as the president of the Girl Scouts, which she did from 1922 to 1925, and then again from 1935 to 1937, that she helped create a program selling cookies to teach girls entrepreneurship and to help raise funds for troop activities. Since our theme for the week is entrepreneurship, I thought she was the perfect First Lady to highlight. So today we are making Girl Scout cookies. No, we aren't making Thin Mints. Yes, I'm just as disappointed as you are. However, this is the original Girl Scout cookie recipe from 1922, which was given to Girl Scouts so they can make their own cookies at home, which they sold for 25 to 30 cents per dozen. So think about that for a little bit. So this is our cast of characters for this recipe. It's a pretty easy recipe. I have a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks of butter softened. So I took this out of the refrigerator earlier to get it to room temperature so that it mixes easily. I have 2 eggs, which I've already beaten together. I have 2 tablespoons of baking powder. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I have 2 tablespoons of milk. I have 2 cups of flour. I have 1 cup of sugar, and I also have a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So the first thing that I'm going to do, also, I don't want to forget that another very important component of this is my mixer. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take the butter, and I'm going to put it in to the bowl. And now it's really soft, so it's sticking to my fingers. Okay. And then I'm going to take the sugar, and I'm going to dump it in here. And then I'm going to take the mixer, and I'm going to cream these two together. So since the butter is already pretty soft, and it's probably not going to take me too long, but I'm going to beat this together so that it all incorporates, and then we will continue with the recipe once this is all creamed together. Okay, so the sugar and the butter has all been mixed together. So it's this really nice, very pale yellow color, and it's all nice and fluffy. I probably mixed it for about, a minute and a half, 2 minutes on a medium speed. It's gonna matter if your butter's a little bit more firm, it might take a little bit longer. If your butter's soft like mine was, it didn't take too long at all. So what I'm gonna do now is just combine the rest of the ingredients. So I'm gonna dump my eggs in. And I'm gonna add my milk. I'm gonna add my baking powder. I'm gonna add my vanilla. So I actually don't have vanilla extract, but I had vanilla bean paste. But it's the same amount of vanilla bean paste as it would be vanilla extract. And then I'm gonna take my flour, and I'm just gonna put a little bit in, and I'm gonna start to kind of mix it. Now you can do this if you have a stand mixer, you can mix this all together in your stand mixer. You can use your hand mixer, or you can do it like I'm doing it by hand. The key here is that you don't want to overbeat your flour, so you just don't want to overmix. I apparently can't be trusted with flour, dumping it in, because I always add just a little too much and make a mess. But you're just gonna mix this together so that it starts to combine a little bit at a time. Like I said, you just don't want to overmix your flour, otherwise your cookies will turn out to be kind of flat and hard, and that's not really what we're going for here. So just gonna keep mixing this together. Okay, so the flour and all of the other ingredients are all mixed in, and it's just combined. And now here is gonna be a test of your patience. I have a piece of plastic wrap right here, and I'm just gonna take the dough and I'm going to just put this right onto the plastic wrap. And we have to put this in the refrigerator, and we have to let it sit in the refrigerator for about an hour before we can put these in the oven. So I'm going to just wrap this up, and I'm gonna let it sit in the refrigerator for an hour, and then when we come back, we'll cut the dough and we will get these into the oven. So I'll check back in an hour. Okay, I have pulled my dough out of the oven, and what I did was I put a piece of parchment paper down on my countertop, and I put the dough on top of it so that it didn't stick to the countertop, and I've just been rolling it out. So I've been rolling it out. I don't want it to be too thin, but I don't want it to be too thick, otherwise the cookies aren't going to bake evenly. So that feels like it's pretty good, and the reason that we put it into the refrigerator for that hour was to make sure that the cookies hold their shape. So when you cut them with the cookie cutter, you want to make sure that the cookie is going to hold its shape when you put them into the oven. So it's rolled out. I'm pretty happy with the way that this looks. So I'm going to take my cookie cutter, and the cookie cutters that I have I have rainbows, and I have a unicorn. So we are making unicorn and rainbow Girl Scout cookies. So I am just going to take this and just press this into the dough. Make sure you cut all the way through so that it's easy to pull out. Get right to the edge because we want to use all of this dough. Okay. So what I have done is I have gone ahead and I have prepped a cookie sheet, and I have some parchment paper on my cookie sheet, and I'm going to just pull this dough away, and well, this might be easier said than done, folks. I don't know that these rainbows and unicorns are going to hold their shape, but we're going to give it the good old college try. And if all else fails, just put shapes on the tray. So I am going to just continue getting my non-shape shapes onto my cookie sheet. I'm going to put it in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes, and what I'm going to do about halfway through that 8 to 10 minutes is I'm going to just rotate the pan. So I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to stick it in the oven, and hopefully when I come back we will have a delicious end product for you. Okay, so I've just pulled the cookies out of the oven. I had them in there for a little over 10 minutes because I like crispy edges on my sugar cookies, but it's really entirely up to you. Just make sure that they don't burn, so keep an eye on them. So I am going to be entirely honest and tell you that these are not the prettiest cookies that I have ever made in my life. However, they smell really good, and you really can't go wrong when you have sugar and butter mixed together. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a taste. I have to tell you, Samoas and Thin Mints and Tagalongs and all of those cookies are wonderful, and I'm really glad we have them now, but for this being the original Girl Scout cookie recipe, it's pretty delicious. So thank you once again for joining us for Cooking with the First Ladies. Despite the fact that we are eating tasty blobs instead of unicorns and rainbows, we have had a lot of fun tonight, and I hope you have as well. Please stick with us. We will be featuring our very first cocktail recipe coming up in just a few days. We'll also have other additional recipes coming at you. Please, if you're interested in our First Ladies Cookbook, go to our website, womenshistory.org. If you're looking for other educational programming or just for something else to do during the week, go to our NWHM at Home landing page on our website. We have videos, we have a virtual story hour, so we do have a lot of things for you to do that aren't cooking related. So thank you again for being here with us, and we can't wait to see you again.